tonight, I invite you to slow down with me. Wherever you are right now, lying in bed, resting on a couch, or simply closing your eyes after a long day, know that you are safe in this moment. There is nowhere you need to go, and there is nothing you need to do. This time is just for you. I'm grateful that you're here, sharing this quiet space with me. I know how heavy the day can feel, even when the world grows quiet at night. The mind often keeps talking, replaying moments, worrying about tomorrow, holding onto things that can no longer be changed. I've been there, too. I've felt how exhausting it is to carry so many thoughts into the night. That's why, tonight, I'm choosing to let go, and I gently invite you to do the same. As we begin, allow my voice to be a soft companion rather than something you need to focus on. You don't have to listen carefully. You don't have to remember anything I say. Just let the words pass through you like a slow-moving breeze through an open window. If you fall asleep while listening, that is perfectly fine. This story will still be here, quietly flowing, whether you are awake or asleep. Before we go deeper, I want to thank you for being part of this space. If these calm moments help you, if they bring even a little peace into your nights, you're always welcome to stay connected with this channel. But for now, there's no pressure, only rest, only ease, only gentleness. Take a slow breath in with me. Not deep, not forced, just natural. And as you breathe out, imagine setting down something you've been holding all day. Maybe it's a worry. Maybe it's a responsibility. Maybe it's a feeling you couldn't name. You don't need to solve it. Just place it gently on the ground beside you, knowing you can pick it up another time if you even need to. I'm speaking to you now as one human being to another. I'm not here to teach, to fix, or to guide you perfectly. I'm simply sharing a quiet walk through stillness. In the Buddhist way, there is a gentle understanding that everything is always changing. Thoughts arise, feelings appear, and then, without effort, they fade. Tonight, you don't need to chase your thoughts or push them away. Let them come, let them go, like clouds drifting across a moonlit sky. If your mind wanders, that's okay. If you suddenly remember something from earlier today, that's okay too. Each time you notice your thoughts pulling you away, softly remind yourself, right now, I am resting. Nothing else matters in this moment. Even that reminder can be quiet, almost like a whisper to yourself as I speak. You might begin to notice small details, the weight of your body where it rests, the gentle rhythm of your breathing, the subtle feeling of the air around you. These simple sensations are anchors, keeping you here in the present. I often find comfort in remembering that the present moment never asks anything from me. It only offers itself. Tonight's story will unfold slowly, without urgency. There will be no sudden turns, no sharp edges, no need to stay alert. This is a place of softness, a place where time loosens its grip, a place where even effort is allowed to dissolve if you're ready. Allow your eyes to close or soften your gaze if they're already closed. Let your jaw relax. Let your shoulders sink just a little. With each breath out, imagine yourself becoming heavier, more supported, more at ease. You don't need to fall asleep quickly. You don't need to fall asleep at all. Rest is enough. I'm here with you now and for the next while. We'll move gently one calm moment into the next, leaving the noise of the day behind. Let this be the beginning of a peaceful night, and the mind remembers how to be still. Now that you're here with me, let's slow everything down even more. There's no rush at all. I'm not asking you to breathe in any special way or to do anything perfectly. I'm simply inviting you to notice what is already happening. Your breath has been with you all day without asking for attention. Tonight, we're just gently acknowledging it. I begin by noticing my own breathing, and you can follow along if it feels comfortable. I feel the breath arrive quietly through the nose. I don't pull it in. I don't make it deeper. I let it come to me exactly as it wants to. And when it leaves, I let it go without holding on. In this simple rhythm, breath arriving, breath leaving, there is nothing to fix, nothing to control. As I breathe out, I imagine the day slowly draining from my body. Not all at once, just a little at a time. With each exhale, something unnecessary loosens its grip. A tension I didn't realize I was holding. A thought that no longer needs my attention. I don't force it away. I just allow it to soften. I bring my awareness down into my body now, the way a warm light might slowly move downward at sunset. I start at the top of my head. If there's tightness there, I notice it without judgment. I don't ask why it's there. I simply breathe, and as I breathe out, I imagine that area becoming smoother, quieter, lighter. My forehead relaxes. The space between my eyebrows softens. I let my eyes rest gently in their sockets, no longer working, no longer scanning. My cheeks loosen, my jaw unclenches, and if my teeth were touching, I let a little space appear between them. It feels good not to hold anything there anymore. As the breath continues, calm and unhurried, I let that sense of ease flow down into my neck. So much of the day lives here. Responsibility, worry, effort. Tonight, I don't need to carry any of that. With each slow breath out, my neck releases, my throat softens, and my shoulders begin to drop, as if they've remembered they don't have to stay lifted. I notice my shoulders now, and I allow them to sink gently, naturally. There's no dramatic release, just a quiet letting go. From my shoulders, the feeling of relaxation moves down my arms. My upper arms grow heavier than my elbows, my forearms, all the way to my hands. My fingers rest without effort. I don't need to grip anything. I don't need to hold on. Each breath feels like a small wave washing through me and then retreating, taking tension with it. I don't follow the wave with my mind. I just let it pass. Now my attention settles in my chest. I feel the gentle movement as the breath comes and goes. There's no need to make space for it. It already has space. I let my chest be soft, open, and at ease. My heart doesn't need instructions tonight. It knows how to beat. It knows how to rest between beats as I breathe out. I feel my upper back relax, the muscles between my shoulder blades loosening, spreading, resting into support. Whatever is beneath me, bed, couch, floor holds my weight completely. I don't have to support myself anymore. I can trust the ground to do that for me. My awareness drifts down into my belly now. I notice how it rises and falls on its own. I don't pull it in. I don't hold it tight. I let it be soft, natural, unguarded. With each breath out, I imagine warmth spreading there, a sense of safety, a quiet reassurance that in this moment I am okay from there. The feeling of heaviness and calm flows into my lower back and hips. If there's tension stored there from sitting, standing, or moving through the day, I don't fight it. I simply breathe, and as I breathe out, I give it permission to melt, slowly, gradually. At its own pace, my thighs relax. The muscles that carried me all day finally rest. My knees soften. My calves grow heavy and warm. And then my attention reaches my feet. I notice them without trying to change anything. My heels sink downward. My toes loosen. My feet rest, supported, still. At this point, my whole body feels like it's being gently held. Nothing is floating. Nothing is tense. Everything has a place to rest. I remain aware of my breathing, not as something I'm doing, but as something that's happening all by itself. If thoughts appear, I notice them the way I might notice distant sounds at night. I don't follow them. I don't answer them. I let them fade into the background while the breath stays close, steady, familiar. Sometimes I imagine each breath out as a quiet letting go of effort itself. I don't need to try to relax. I don't need to succeed at anything. I'm already doing enough by being here. As the minutes pass, the breath may grow slower, or it may stay the same. Either way is fine. There's no goal. There's only this gentle awareness, this simple presence. I remind myself softly, nothing is required of me right now. Not productivity, not understanding, not attention. Rest is allowed. Stillness is allowed. I stay here for a while, resting inside my breath, resting inside my body, letting gravity and silence do their work. And as everything settles, I feel myself drifting closer to a place where sleep can arrive naturally, without being invited, without being forced, just quietly. Like night settling over the world. As my breathing settles into a quiet rhythm, a memory begins to form in my mind, gentle and unhurried, as if it has been waiting for this stillness to appear. I don't rush toward it. I simply allow it to unfold the way a story does when it knows there is no need to impress in this memory. I am walking alone along a narrow path that winds through a forest. The path is old, softened by time and footsteps, and the trees on either side stand tall and calm, as if they have seen countless lives pass beneath their branches. The air is cool, and each breath feels clean, untouched by urgency. I notice how quiet everything is, not empty, but peacefully alive. Leaves move slightly. Somewhere far away, water flows over stone. I am not walking to reach a destination. I am walking because walking is happening. Each step meets the earth, and the earth meets me back. There is no conversation in my mind about where I should be or who I should become. For once, I am simply here. As I continue, the path opens into a small clearing. In the center of it stands a simple wooden hut, weathered and humble, as though it has grown out of the forest rather than been built within it. Smoke rises gently from somewhere unseen, thin and pale against the sky. I feel no surprise at finding this place. It feels familiar, like something remembered rather than discovered. I approach slowly, and as I do, I notice a monk sitting outside the hut. He is seated on the ground, his posture relaxed, his eyes half closed. He doesn't seem to be waiting for anyone, and yet I sense that my presence is not unexpected. I stop a short distance away, unsure whether I should speak. The monk opens his eyes, and when he looks at me, there is no judgment there, no curiosity even, just a quiet recognition, as though he sees not only me, but the long path that brought me here. He gestures gently for me to sit, and I do. The ground beneath me is cool and steady. For a while, we sit in silence. At first, my mind wants to fill the space. It searches for something meaningful to say, something wise or important. But the longer the silence lasts, the less urgent that need becomes. The forest seems to breathe around us. The moment feels complete without words. Eventually, the monk speaks, his voice soft, almost blending into the air itself. He asks me why I've come. I start to answer, but I stop midway through my thought. The reasons I had carried with me, stress, confusion, exhaustion, suddenly feel too heavy, too complicated to explain. I realize I don't actually need to name them. I don't know, I say instead. And as soon as I say it, I feel lighter. The monk smiles. Not because I've said something clever, but because I've said something honest. He nods, as if this answer is enough. He tells me that not knowing is a very gentle place to stand. If I allow it to be, he reaches down and picks up a small stone from the ground, smooth and worn. He places it in his open palm and holds it out toward me. Imagine, he says, that this stone is every thought you've been carrying, every worry, every plan, every regret. He closes his fingers around it slowly. Now imagine holding it like this all day. As I watch, I can almost feel the tension in my own hand, even though it's resting loosely in my lap. I know that feeling well. The constant grip, it's a quiet strain. The monk opens his hand again, letting the stone rest freely on his palm. The stone hasn't changed, he says, only the way it's being held. He places the stone back on the ground, where it disappears among countless others. Most suffering, he continues, comes not from what we carry, but from how tightly we refuse to set it down. I sit with his words, letting them settle without analyzing them. I don't try to turn them into advice or lessons. I simply let them exist the way the trees exist, without explanation. We return to silence again. This time, it feels deeper, more spacious. I notice that my breathing has become slower, softer. My body feels as though it's sinking gently into the earth, supported without effort. After some time, I realize that I don't feel the need to ask questions. The forest, the monk, the quiet, they are already answering something inside me that never needed words. As the light in the clearing begins to shift, the monk stands. He bows slightly, not as a farewell, but as an acknowledgement of the moment we've shared. I stand as well, and without discussing it, I know it's time to continue on my path. I walk away from the hut, back toward the forest trail, and with each step, I feel as though I've left something behind. Not deliberately, not dramatically. It's simply no longer there. The path ahead looks no different than before. But I am different in a way that doesn't need to be named. My steps are slower. My breath is quiet. My mind no longer rushes ahead of me. As this story gently fades, I allow myself to remain in that same calm presence. There is no need to hold onto the images. They can drift away if they want to. What remains is the feeling, the soft understanding that peace does not come from escaping life, but from loosening the grip with which I hold it, and in that understanding, my body rests even more deeply, as if it too has learned how to set something down. The path continues beneath my feet, though it no longer feels like something I am following. It feels as if the forest itself is carrying me forward, step by gentle step. The air grows warmer, softer, and each breath moves through me without effort. I am no longer thinking about where I came from or where I might be going. I am simply moving, and that feels complete. As I walk, the trees begin to thin, opening into a wide, quiet valley. The ground here is smooth, covered in soft grass that bends easily beneath my steps. In the distance, I hear the sound of a bellow, slow and resonant. Each tone rises, lingers for a moment, and then dissolves into silence. I don't try to count the bells or measure the time between them. I let each sound arrive and leave, just as my breath does. I come upon a small temple resting at the edge of the valley. It is not grand or imposing. Its walls are simple, its doors open, as if it has nothing to hide and nothing to protect. I step inside, and the coolness of the stone floor meets the soles of my feet. The space is almost empty. There are no decorations asking for attention, no symbols demanding meaning. Only space, only stillness. I sit down, crossing my legs comfortably, and I notice how natural it feels to stop moving. My body seems relieved, as though it has been waiting for this pause. I close my eyes, not to block out the world, but to meet it more quietly. At first, thoughts still appear. They drift in like visitors who haven't yet realized the gathering is over. A memory surfaces. A small worry tries to speak. I don't push them away. I simply don't invite them to stay. Each time a thought arises, I notice it, and then I let my attention return to the feeling of sitting, the feeling of breathing, the feeling of being held by the ground beneath me. The bell sounds again. Closer now, though I cannot see who rings it. The sound passes through me rather than reaching me. For a moment, there is no clear boundary between what is inside and what is outside. There is just sound, just awareness, just presence. In this quiet, I begin to notice something subtle. The part of me that usually watches everything, the part that judges, compares, worries, has grown tired. It loosens its grip. It steps back. In its place, there is a simple knowing that I am here, and that being here is enough. Time no longer feels like a straight line. It stretches, softens, and then gently disappears. I could be sitting for minutes or hours. It doesn't matter. Nothing is being missed. A thought arises, softer than the others, almost like a whisper. What if I don't need to become anything more than this? I don't chase the thought. I don't try to answer it. I let it float by, and in doing so, it leaves behind a quiet sense of relief. I remember something the monk said earlier. Though his voice is no longer present, most suffering comes not from what we carry, but from how tightly we hold it. Sitting here now, I realize how little I am holding. My hands rest open on my knees. My breath comes and goes. Even my sense of self feels lighter, less solid, more like a passing shape than a fixed thing. There is a moment, so brief it almost escapes notice, when I feel completely empty. Not empty in a cold or lonely way, but empty in the way a clear sky is empty. Open, spacious, free to allow anything to pass through without resistance. In that openness, a deep calm spreads through my body. My shoulders drop further. My jaw softens. My heartbeat slows, each beat arriving with patience, each pause between beats stretching into comfort. I am not relaxing myself. Relaxation is happening on its own. The bell rings once more, and then there is silence. Not the absence of sound, but a silence that feels full, alive, and steady. I rest in it, the way a leaf rests on still water. When I finally open my eyes, the temple is still there, unchanged. Yet everything feels different, or perhaps nothing has changed at all. And I am simply noticing what has always been present beneath the noise. I stand slowly, feeling the steadiness in my legs, the ease in my movements. There is no rush to leave. There is no instruction to stay. Either choice would be fine. For now, I step back outside into the valley. The grass sways gently in the breeze. The sky above is wide and untroubled. I take one step, then another, and with each step, I feel less like someone moving through the world and more like the world moving quietly through me. As this deeper part of the story settles, I don't try to hold on to it. I let it sink beneath the surface of awareness, like a stone gently lowering into water, leaving behind only stillness. My breathing remains slow and easy. My body feels heavy, grounded, safe. The mind, no longer searching for meaning, begins to rest. And in this resting, I sense myself drifting closer to sleep, not falling. Not being pulled, but simply allowing myself to float into a place where effort dissolves and only calm remains. I remain where I am, not because I have decided to stay, but because there is nowhere else to go. The sense of movement has faded, and in its place, there is a quiet continuity, like a long breath that never quite ends. I notice that even the idea of a story is becoming softer now, less structured, less concerned with direction. What unfolds feels more like a gentle presence than a sequence of events. In this stillness, an image arises on its own. I see myself sitting beside a calm lake at dawn. The surface of the water is smooth, almost mirror-like, reflecting the pale sky above. There are no ripples, no signs of disturbance. I am drawn to how complete the lake feels just as it is. It isn't trying to be clearer. It isn't trying to reflect better. It simply receives what comes: light, shadow, sky, and lets it rest. As I sit there, I realize how often I have treated my own mind differently. I have tried to control it, discipline it, force it into stillness. I have believed that peace was something to be achieved through effort. Yet this lake shows me something quieter and more patient. It does nothing at all, and in doing nothing, it becomes perfectly calm. A leaf falls from a tree nearby and lands on the surface of the water. For a moment, there is a small ripple. The reflection bends, distorts, then slowly returns to stillness. The lake does not resist the leaf. It does not cling to the ripple. It allows both to come and go. Watching this, something in me loosens further. I understand, not with my thinking mind, but with a deeper knowing, that thoughts are like those leaves. Feelings are like those ripples. They appear, they move, they fade. The suffering begins only when I mistake the ripple for the lake itself. I remember how often I have said to myself, I am anxious, or I am tired, or I am not enough. Sitting here now, I sense how those words quietly glue passing experiences to my identity. What if, instead, I allowed them to be what they are: temporary movements on the surface? I breathe in slowly, gently. I breathe out, and with that breath, I imagine creating space between who I am and what passes through me. Not separation, but softness. Not distance, but freedom. In this meditative quiet, another teaching rises without effort. I see a monk walking along a road, carrying a heavy bundle on his back. His steps are slow, his posture bent. At some point along the road, he stops, unties the bundle, and places it gently on the ground. He does not open it. He does not inspect its contents. He simply sits beside it and rests. What strikes me is that no one told him to do this. He did not wait for permission. He did not need a reason. He simply noticed that he was tired, and he responded with kindness. I realize how rarely I offer myself that same kindness. I wait until everything is finished, until everything is solved, until I am allowed to rest. Yet rest, like breath, is not something to be earned. It is something to be remembered. As this understanding settles, my body responds. My muscles soften even more. My breathing becomes so quiet it almost disappears. The weight of my body sinks fully into its support, and I feel a deep sense of being held not by anything specific, but by life itself. In this space, the idea of control begins to fade. I see how much energy I have spent trying to arrange the future, replay the past, protect myself from uncertainty. and I see, just as clearly, how little any of that effort was needed in this moment. Right now, nothing is missing. Right now, nothing is wrong. Another image appears as gently as the others. I am standing in a field as the wind moves through tall grass. The grass bends easily, never breaking, never resisting. When the wind passes, it stands again, unchanged at its roots. I feel the teaching in this without needing words. Strength does not come from rigidity. Peace does not come from resistance. I ask myself, quietly, what would it feel like to live this way, to bend when life moves through me, and to return to stillness when it passes? The question does not demand an answer. It simply opens a door. The mind, which once rushed to respond, now remains quiet. It is as if it trusts this silence more than it trusts explanation. In the Buddhist way, there is a knowing that wisdom does not always arrive as insight. Sometimes it arrives as rest. I notice that I am no longer trying to listen. The words, the images, the teachings, they drift through me without effort. There is no longer a listener and a speaker. There is only awareness, calm and wide. Thoughts still appear from time to time, but they are faint, like distant lights seen through fog. They no longer pull me with them. I let them glow briefly and then fade on their own. In this gentle drifting, I understand something deeply comforting. I do not need to fix myself before I can rest. I do not need to understand everything before I can let go. The act of letting go is not something I do. It is something that happens when I stop holding. I return again to the image of the lake. The leaf has drifted to the edge and disappeared among the reeds. The surface is still once more, reflecting only the quiet sky. I feel as though I am both the one watching and the water being watched. Observer and observed soften into one. A deep peace settles over me now, not as an emotion, but as a state of being. It does not rise or fall. It simply remains, steady and kind. In this peace, I feel no urgency to continue the story. I sense that the teaching has already been received, not by the mind, but by the body, the breath, the quiet heart beneath it all. As I rest here, I allow myself to drift even deeper. There's nothing left to learn in this moment. There is nothing left to do. The wisdom of this practice is simple and complete. Allow what is, release what tightens, and trust the natural return to stillness. With each breath, Thor, perhaps between breaths, sigh, feel myself dissolving into rest. The boundary between waking and sleeping grows thin, and in that gentle threshold, I remain peaceful, unburdened, and quietly whole. I feel myself sinking deeper now, not in the sense of falling, but in the sense of letting go completely. The world outside has become a distant hum, faint and unimportant. Every sound that reaches me now is soft, like whispers carried on the wind. Even my thoughts have grown slow, stretched by the spaciousness of this quiet. I am no longer just sitting or lying. Here I am becoming a part of the stillness itself, breathing as if the universe is breathing with me. The body, which has carried me through countless moments of tension, fear, and effort, is finally allowed to rest. I feel the weight of it, fully supported by the surface beneath me. I do not need to adjust. I do not need to hold. My hands are open. My legs are soft. My shoulders have dissolved into ease. Every part of me that once clenched or guarded or strained has softened, melting into the present moment. There is only this, the gentle rhythm of awareness, flowing in and out with each breath. I imagine my mind as a vast sky. Thoughts are clouds drifting lazily across it, appearing and fading without control or resistance. Some are small, wispy, almost transparent. Others are darker, heavier, yet even they pass in time. I do not chase the clouds. I do not push them away. I simply watch them move, letting the sky remain wide and uninterrupted beneath them. In this, I feel a sense of liberation not from the clouds themselves, but from the need to grasp, to name, to judge. The breath continues, slow and unforced. I notice that each inhale brings a gentle expansion, a tiny opening in the chest, in the belly, in the heart. Each exhale releases, softens, lets go. There is no goal in this breathing, no rhythm to master. It is not something I do. It is something that happens quietly and perfectly beneath conscious effort. The awareness of the breath itself becomes a guide into deeper calm, a tether to the present that is kind, patient, and unobtrusive. As I settle further into this quiet, the edges between body, mind, and environment begin to blur. I feel the air brushing my skin, the subtle pressure of the surface beneath me, the distant murmurs of the world outside, all woven seamlessly into a single field of awareness. There is no separation. There is no resistance. There is only the continuous movement of life, gentle and unhurried, carrying me with it. I imagine now a gentle river flowing nearby. Its current is soft, winding, persistent, without force. I place my awareness upon it, letting the image guide me. Every ripple, every reflection of sunlight, every leaf that floats upon its surface reminds me that life moves through me just as water moves through the riverbed. I do not need to stop it, control it, or direct it. I only need to float with it. The river carries no judgment, no expectation, no urgency, simply is, and in being, it is enough. I notice how this realization spreads through the body. My spine feels unburdened. My chest opens wider. My legs grow heavier, more anchored. Even my mind, usually alert and busy, feels like it has let go of the need to perform or plan. The act of letting go becomes almost effortless, a natural consequence of this deep immersion in calm. With each moment, the sense of I grows quieter. There is still awareness, yes, but the constant chatter, the inner dialogue, has largely disappeared. I am present in a way that is intimate yet spacious. The space is not empty, is alive with subtle sensations. The warmth of the body, the gentle rhythm of breathing, the faint hum of life outside. I am not separate from these sensations. I am part of them, flowing with them, resting in them. A thought arises. What if nothing else is required? What if everything I have ever sought outside of this moment, peace, understanding, fulfillment already exists here, now, unmeasured and whole? I do not analyze the thought. I do not resist it. I allow it to settle quietly, like a stone placed in still water. The water remains calm, the reflection undisturbed. I feel the edges of my awareness soften further. Time no longer matters. Minutes, hours, the events of the day, they drift away, inconsequential. I am neither awake nor fully asleep, but resting in a threshold between states, a space that is deep, vast, and gentle. In this liminal space, I realize that stillness is not a state to reach, but a space to inhabit. And I am inhabiting it fully. My body has grown heavy, deeply supported. My chest rises and falls in slow, even breaths. My limbs are loose, my jaw soft, my eyes resting peacefully. I feel almost weightless, yet firmly grounded. There is no need to move, no need to adjust, no need to think. Everything is complete as it is. I allow my awareness to drift even more subtly now, noticing small sensations that I usually overlook. The touch of clothing against skin, the faint sound of distant life, the temperature of the air. Each one passes through me without demanding attention. I watch them without grasping, without naming, without judging. Each sensation, each passing moment becomes a thread in the fabric of deep calm. The mind, which once sought meaning in every detail, now rests in simplicity. There is only the flow of awareness, quiet, continuous, patient. I notice the ease in my body and mind, the absence of tension, the presence of gentle warmth and peace. Sleep is not forced. It is invited gently, like the tide moving across a calm shore. I return my attention to the breath, soft and steady. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. The rhythm is unbroken, flowing, effortless. It carries me deeper into a state of profound relaxation, where the body and mind are united in a singular awareness of calm. I feel a wave of warmth spread through me, beginning at the chest and flowing outward. It moves into my arms, into my legs, into my back, and finally into the extremities of my body. Every muscle, every joint, every fiber is touched by this warmth. It is a warmth of rest, of acceptance, of gentle presence. As I drift further, I notice a lightness in the mind. Thoughts appear briefly, like shadows moving across a wall, and then dissolve into the wide stillness beneath them. I do not chase them. I do not push them away. They are simply phenomena passing through awareness. I feel as if I am floating, yet anchored. I am weightless, yet fully supported. The boundary between myself and the world softens until it feels almost imperceptible. There is only the continuous flow of breath, the gentle pulse of awareness, and the vast, unbroken stillness that surrounds and permeates me. Time continues to fade. Minutes, hours, the events of the day all drift away. Only the quiet presence of being remains. I feel at once expansive and grounded, peaceful and alert, awake and ready to surrender fully into sleep. I sense the body growing heavier, the mind quieter, and the spirit calmer. The threshold between waking and sleeping narrows. There is no need to act, no need to strive, no need to resist. Everything is exactly as it should be. In this deep layer of calm, I realize that all effort has dissolved. There is only rest, only stillness, only awareness flowing effortlessly through the body, through the mind, through everything. It is complete, it is whole, and I allow myself to remain here, fully immersed, fully present, fully at peace. The world outside no longer intrudes. The self no longer struggles. Only the quiet, gentle, infinite calm remains, a calm that flows through every breath, every heartbeat, every thought, until sleep, deep and restorative, arrives naturally, without effort, without expectation, without need. Now, as the night deepens and my body has fully surrendered to rest, I allow the awareness of stillness to become even softer, almost imperceptible. There is no need for words, no need for thought, no need for effort. I am merely present, like a quiet stream flowing through a forest, moving gently without intention, without destination. The world outside exists, but it is distant, faint, irrelevant to this space of calm that I have created simply by allowing myself to be here. I notice the breath, soft and natural, rising and falling effortlessly. I do not need to control it, to deepen it, or to count it. It moves as it always has, carrying with it the rhythm of life itself. Each exhale is an invitation to release the last threads of tension that remain in the body. My shoulders, my back, my chest, my arms, my legs all continue to sink, melting deeper into the support beneath me. There is no pressure, no urgency, no expectation, only ease, only weightlessness held by the gentle force of gravity. I allow the mind to become a distant observer, watching itself with quiet curiosity, noticing the last flickers of thought, the faint echoes of the day, and letting them pass by without engagement. I do not judge them. I do not follow them. They drift like clouds across a sky so vast, so spacious, that they feel almost insignificant. There is no need to hold on to anything. Everything that has been, everything that will be, can rest for now. I am not my thoughts. I am not my worries. I am not my plans. I am only this present, calm, and soft awareness. I sense the body becoming even heavier, grounded, supported, while the mind and spirit float lightly, untethered by time or expectation. There is a gentle warmth spreading through the chest, moving slowly outward into the arms and legs, enveloping every part of the body in a sense of quiet safety. It is a warmth of acceptance, of release, of gentle kindness toward myself, and it allows every remaining tension, every last effort to dissolve. The edges between waking and sleeping blur further. I do not struggle to sleep, nor do I force wakefulness. I simply rest in this threshold, a liminal space where awareness flows effortlessly like water over smooth stones. Each inhalation and exhalation brings me deeper into this state, softer, quieter, and more fluid. I am aware, yet I am not thinking. I am awake, yet I am surrendering. I am present, yet I am dissolving into stillness. Tiny details emerge in the quiet, the subtle touch of air against skin, the faint pulse of life in the body, the slow, almost imperceptible hum of existence around me. I notice them not as objects to examine, but as gentle reminders of the moment itself, alive and unhurried. Even these sensations are fleeting, and I let them pass, drifting in and out of perception without attachment. There is nothing to grasp. There is nothing to hold. There is only the continuous, unbroken flow of calm. I imagine myself like a leaf resting on still water, neither sinking nor floating away, perfectly balanced between presence and surrender. The leaf does not struggle. It does not resist. It does not try to become anything more than it is. It simply exists, carried gently by the current, supported by the water, at peace with itself. I allow myself to be that leaf. I do not need to accomplish anything, remember anything, or prepare for anything. There is only this, the quiet, unbroken calm that surrounds and carries me. As I rest in this softness, any last remnants of tension or thought fade into the background. The body feels completely at ease, the breath soft and rhythmic, and the mind like a vast, empty sky, open and untroubled. I am neither here nor there, neither awake nor fully asleep. I am simply resting in this gentle, liminal space, suspended in quiet, infinite peace. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, I allow myself to drift further, letting sleep arrive naturally, without expectation or force. The thoughts of the day are gone. The worries, the plans, the stories they have all faded like mist. Only the calm remains, soft and steady, flowing through every part of me. And now, as this gentle state carries me onward, I do not hold onto anything. I do not chase the next moment. I do not anticipate. I do not resist. I am completely surrendered to the quiet, and in that surrender, I find everything I need. The night, the breath, the body, the mind, they are all one with this soft, unbroken peace. There is nothing more to say, nothing more to do, nothing more to hold. I rest fully, deeply, completely in this space of gentle calm.